Well, you don't need to have pants on right now. So literally with Zoom, you can only top up, right?
Yeah, well, I'm in my office all alone, 8,000 square feet to myself. It's not bad.
Yeah, and again, people are still logging on. I'm going to give this another 2 minutes. If you hear a kid crying in my background, just ignore it. If you hear a dog barking, ignore it. I'll break loose, but we are continuing on. The show will go on.
You have to download Crisp. You have to download Crisp, Matt. It's KRISP. Great app that's noise canceling. You can even be in the cafe. Cancels out all background noise.
Really? Can I just have that on my entire day, just in my ears? And
yeah, really. Perma-Crisp would be great. Yeah, it even works for, like, the other person doesn't have to have it on. You can, like, mute their noise as well. So it's
I'm
great.
definitely going to have to check that out. We still have our numbers are still growing. I think we'll give it one more minute. Again, we had quite a few hundred people sign up for this, and I know everyone's super busy right now, so it might be coming on a little bit late. But we'll give it one more minute. I'm just seeing the numbers kind of start plateauing a little bit, so I think we could get started in a second. While we're waiting for people to come on, some people are going to miss out a little bit, but might as well jump right into kind of just who we are for people watching. My name is Matthew Slutsky. I'm a co-founder and co-president of BuzzBuzzHome. If you don't know BuzzBuzzHome, probably in the wrong webinar. Like, you might want to leave. But we're North America's largest online listing of all new residential developments. Anything new, we list. We've been in business for about 10 years, and we have a lot of great insight, but also a lot of great connections. And part of what we're doing here with this webinar, it isn't about BuzzBuzzHome. It's not about McOuat partnership. It's really trying to bring knowledge to the entire industry and really help people through these times, because it's tough, and a lot of builders are really far ahead in understanding what's going on, and a lot of builders do need help and are looking for advice on how to move forward in these times. So that's who I am. Lianne, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm VP strategy here at the agency, one of the principals, along with my 3 brothers, my sister, and myself. We're a 40-person agency, and right now we handle about 65 builders on over 100 active communities, including coming soon sites as well. I've been doing it for 25 years on about 1,000 communities. And what I really specialize in and what I'm passionate about is, coming up with new and the latest technologies for lead generation, lead nurturing, and sales techniques. So I'm excited to talk today about all the stuff that I'm really passionate about.
And just one little heads up, little housekeeping. You might notice on the bottom, if you're not that familiar with Zoom webinars, there is a chat functionality, and I've seen already there's been a bunch of people shouting out. Leanne Mary is giving you a head up, a big hat tip for mentioning Chris. But there's a lot of people on here. Why don't you let us know where you're from? If you ever have any interest, we're kind of keeping an eye on it. So hopefully we can get to some things that you're mentioning. Also, there's a QA section, which is very different from the chat section. If you have specific questions for us, you can ask them in the QA. I can't guarantee we'll get to them, but we'll definitely try and work it into this. We're trying to keep this about an hour long, and it is jam-packed. So I think we're gonna start moving forward right now. And really, the first question, Leanne, is like, who at this time is actually buying a house? Like, who's out there buying a house right now?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's people on this webinar saying, you guys crazy? Like, no one's going to buy a house right now, and why the heck are you talking about selling homes at a time of worldwide crisis? So I do want to stress at the beginning that this webinar is not meant to downplay the seriousness of the situation that our country and the world's going through right now. We know and recognize that people are facing economic hardships and there's job losses going on. So we have to be sensitive to that fact. But, we also have to recognize that whatever we can do, Matt, as an industry to ensure that our sector of the economy stays strong, it's important for all of us, because a strong real estate market is crucial to the country's economy. So, we really just wanted to offer advice and help builders get through this unprecedented time. But there are buyers out there, all of us see those leads coming in every day when you're advertising. You're seeing a lot of traffic on your site, right?
Yes, we've definitely, when all this really hit, we're pretty open about our numbers. When this hit and everybody went into full lockdown, our traffic dropped about 30% overnight, like on the flip of a switch. And then about a week later, we were down to about 20% down. We're about 15% down right now, but we are starting to see it working its way back up and normalizing a bit. Our leads were definitely also down, but they weren't down to the same percentages. And I think we'll talk a little bit about that further on kind of the quality of leads coming in right now. And I should mention also, we're talking about who would buy a house, and you've got these amazing kind of outlines of different types of people who should be buying or who might be buying a house right now. It's also important for builders to remember that advertising and doing everything you can right now isn't necessarily going to get you a deal this weekend, but it's building that relationship now in a really human way for down the road in the future. Because if things start to heat back up in 3 months from now, it's the leads now that really count. It's not the leads. People aren't sending a lead now and then making their decision this weekend. Very rarely. I mean, it is a buildup. So again, I know you're going to go through all your different things here, but it's beyond that. It's really working.
On that point, Matt, like the sales cycle has absolutely increased. We're probably getting more to like where the US has been with their sales cycle, especially in the GTA. We've been really lucky that the time period between when people start their search and when people buy has been quite short. But for today, you're laying the groundwork to help them make this decision when they're ready. But you'd be surprised, I think I've coined some terms here for some 7 different groups that we're seeing that are expressing interest in sites right now. So I'll just kind of go through these 7 different groups. It's important to talk about the fact that the people that we're talking to are people who want to be talked to. You can't convince someone to buy who's not in a position to buy. We can't persuade someone if they're not ready. So who we're talking about are buying ready buyers, warm leads that are fresh and reaching out to you, this week through lead generation and through sites like BuzzBuzz. So these 7 groups, kind of some fun names, and some of them there's some challenging times that people are going through, but condo escapers, these are singles and couples. They've been trapped in their boxes in the sky, and they can't leave their apartments without going through common areas and touching elevator buttons. So these are people looking to get out of the city, looking for more affordable options in places like Oshawa, Kitchener-Waterloo, Hamilton, or even further out to places like Barrie. They've been working from home, and they've proven to their manager they can work from home. So maybe they want to move out and commute into the city a few times a week. The second group, I think this might be you, Matt, the home haters.
Yeah, I love my house immensely, but we realize we don't have a home office, and we're 2 full-time working people with 2 kids under 3, and we're both thinking, wow, we need a home office right now. You're sitting on kind of our 2nd story TV room, which really now we're thinking we either have to move or turn this into an office if this is going to last many months.
So these home haters like you, they're stuck in their home 24/7, and everything that doesn't work about their house is in their face day after day. So these buyers have been preparing. They're making their lists of the things they want, like a home office, and they just can't wait there to get out there and look at new home options. Like that TV show, Love It or List It. People are watching that show like, I hate my house. Then, sadly, we have the marriage breakers. I don't mean to make light of it, but, most couples are used to spending maybe 60 waking hours a week with their spouse, probably less after hobbies. Now they're 167 hours a week, looking at what their golden years may look like, and they're concerned that maybe they want to make a change in their life. So it's sad, but the marriage breakers are great for our industry because we get 3 real estate transactions out of a marriage breakup. Very sad, but there they are. The next group is the opposite end of the spectrum, the baby makers. So they've been trapped together through a few ovulation cycles, and they are looking for a 2-bedroom condo from their 1-bedroom, or they're looking for a 3-bedroom home. They're looking for a move up basically because they're having kids. And then the other babies, the baby boomers. It's been years we've been waiting for that buying group to make a big move. And these are buyers that have incredible equity in their homes. So even if we see a 10% decrease in selling prices, this is a very strong group. They're going to be in good shape. They're looking at places like Prince Edward County and Huntsville and Collingwood. So we're seeing a lot of interest with that group out there right now. The bottom feeders, the dreaded bottom feeders. They always crawl out from under a rock when they see a crisis. And, hearing from a lot of salespeople that these buyers are calling up, they're saying, when are your prices going to drop? They're trolling some of our social media out there. This is a group that we have to deal with, and they're out there. We'll talk later about dropping prices and that the danger in that, Matt. But these bottom feeders, deal with them if you have to, or turn them away. And the last group, there was an article in the Star this weekend about it. I'm coining them the desperati. These are sad folks. They need to buy a home. It's not just that they want to buy a home. They have to downsize for financial reasons, or maybe they've sold their home and they need a place to move. So the resale market and builders with inventory, they're going to benefit from this group.
We gave a good shout out to Toronto Star there just at the moment that Jason from the Toronto Star in the chat was saying hello. So good time.
Hey, Jason.
Also just that, if you're a lawyer, a divorce lawyer, I think the marriage breakers is going to be important for you in the next few weeks as this builds on for longer.
It's sad.
Now, diving kind of deeper into it. Listen, BuzzBuzzHome, we tried launching a buy now functionality about 2 years ago. We actually ended up putting pause on it. Do you think that buying a new home is normal e-commerce? Like, do you foresee that actually working?
Yeah, no, there are companies out there right now touting that, it's as easy as buying groceries or Amazon. But from a technical perspective, they're right. You can have a buy now button and click, but it's important to remember that buying a home is the largest and most personal, emotional purchase that a person's ever going to make. So more than ever now, we need to recognize this is a guided purchase decision for the majority of home buyers. And as an industry, we need to ensure that the level of service and the attention to all the customers out there are really personal at this time. It's not as simple as just having a buy now button. Yeah, it's an emotional purchase, Matt.
Well, it's more just an emotional purchase. I mean, again, I get emailed like daily now from people being like, don't you wish you continued on with the buy now? The reality is I do like it, and I think in the next month or so, we are going to try to do some different functionality, but I don't think it's the time for it. I mean, right now is the time for one-to-one personal connections. Right now is not the time to just think you're going to put up your inventory online and people are going to be clicking. Right now, people are isolated. They want to talk. Now is the time, kind of the opposite of the buy now. And I think this leads into the next slide, because you've actually created a system that really takes advantage of technology that's available today and layers on it to it a really personal connection and humanity element to it that allows people to essentially sell online with that human connection for like pennies. I mean, we're not talking about something that costs $10,000 transaction. You're talking about something that could cost like pennies a transaction.
Yeah, something that people need to be handheld and need to be guided through. So, the emotional side of the brain is where we need to be tapping into now. We need to find that place where the heart meets the mind and focus less on the logic of the purchase decision and more on the emotion, and just dial up the emotion in all of the content that we're creating. So I did create this 7 simple steps. I sent it out to my clients a couple weeks ago, and it's had quite a good pickup, I think. It's a great 7 steps that are simple, but it's important to say that no one simple formula is for the whole building industry from coast to coast. I know we have builders here, Matt, you mentioned, signed up from across Canada.
We literally have almost every builder signed up across Canada. Like it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so every builder has their own goals and their own absorption needs. So really, they need to develop a customized program, but these 7 simple steps are something that if you don't have the logistics in place, you can get in. It's a short-term solution that will benefit builders in the long run, because even when social distancing is over, maybe some of these techniques will still be around.
And do you want to go through any of these, or do you?
Yeah, I'll just go through, all 7 steps. The first, create a sales presentation that's easy to follow for you and your clients. You could use your project brochure as a starting point, but just make sure that you're dialing in the emotion and incorporating things like your site plan, availability, pricing, floor plans. Then create an email to go out to your database with a link for them to book their appointment, or make this your auto reply when people register for your site so they can book that appointment. Step 3, set those appointments with potential buyers using a free appointment system like Calendly. Do you ever use that, Matt?
Yeah, I love Calendly. Actually, I don't use it for myself. I use it to book meetings with other people, and it is Such an intuitive, incredible tool to use.
So easy, and they get a notification saying that they have their meeting booked. Then you can include a link in there for a Zoom meeting or a go-to meeting. So that's step 4, is to set up that virtual video meeting with interested prospects. I like Zoom. We're on Zoom now. There's a lot of options out there though. Just make sure that you use like a noise canceling app like Crisp, and that you've got good lighting like me, and that you have the camera at the right angle, and you get used to, don't hide behind an email. Get out there and have a meeting with them virtually. Step 5, closing the deal. If they're ready to purchase, then you can bring up the agreement on the screen, walk them through it, and explain the DocuSign process. You just have to make sure that you're following all of those FinTrack, guidelines, get photos of their identification, and sign up the deal. And then I haven't seen a lot of builders do this, but it's something that I really recommend is reduce your rescission rate by sending a follow-up congratulations to the purchase from the president of the company. As soon as the transaction's complete, you want to give them the confidence that they made the right decision. Let them know what the next steps are. And the last step is to get that money. You can do that through bank wire transfer. You just have to set that up with your bank before, and then they can either mail the balance of their checks, or I heard Mattamy, actually, they have a Dropbox at their sales center. So they'll say you have to drop the checks off by a certain date. But Canada Post is running, so mail is good too.
And sorry, we just had a question from Josh Greenbaum. The name of the app for booking the meetings, you were mentioning Calendly. So Josh, that is
Calendly, L-Y.
Calendly, sorry, yeah, Calendly.
Yeah. And Crisp is the noise canceling app with a K, K-R-I-S-P.
Now, this is a bit of a tougher one because across Canada and the US, every market deals with sales and marketing different. So if you're from BC, chances are your sales and marketing are more one. And there's advantages to that and disadvantages. In Ontario, you've got your sales team and your marketing team, usually totally separate. Maybe meets once a week, once every other week, once a month. But now more than ever, these teams need to work together. And even if you're in BC, you still need to work together. Even though you're one company, now that's more important than any other time. Lianne, you're on the actual marketing side, but again, your company is different in that you're a marketing company, but what I've always loved about you is always really based on sales.
Yeah, we're sales focused. My dad taught me that. He said from day one, you have no purpose but to move land, Lianne. It's not about, awards, even if your shelves are full. Without the connection to sales, the ROI of what the builder's spending with you can't be measured by awards. It has to be measured by sales. So we have to work in conjunction with our sales partners, with in-house sales representatives or outside brokerages, to make sure that we are sharing that data and we know which direction to go. And follow-up is the number one thing. Matt, you and I have been talking about this for many years. It's one of the major problems in our industry, not just in the GTA. I think in the US, they've got it right.
Yeah, so I think what happened is after kind of the Lehman Brothers collapse, the Canada, which recovered really quickly, went into heavy marketing and a hype machine. And that hype machine kind of drove everything, where we didn't have to actually be dealing with leads all that much. Whereas in the US, it took so long to recover that they still need to do marketing, but I don't think they cared as much about the marketing, but every single lead mattered so much. So where we've really excelled on the marketing side, the US, and there's quite a few US builders on here as well, so you'll know what we're talking about, really knows how to deal with online leads. And we just never
There's whole business models out there right now that are all about following up with online leads in the US. In Toronto, unfortunately, we've evolved to a place where people put up their hands, they say they're interested in a community, and then a sales administrator basically just emails them, does a big information dump, and walks away with like, hey, let me know if I can help you. But those days are over. And if there's anything good that comes out of the crisis in this industry that I really hope sticks around, is that sales teams have to learn to engage with people online and not treat those online leads. BuzzBuzz leads are just as important as someone walking in your door. They're not second class cold leads.
Yeah, and I just have a point on that, because again, there's no doubt that ever since this kind of isolation started, the number of people who have sent leads through BuzzBuzzHome and then are responding back to BuzzBuzzHome being like, I want to buy a 2-bedroom. The builder's just not responding to me. And it's like the quality of leads there may not be as many of leads, but the quality I find now is way greater than it was before. Pretty much every lead. There's no lurky-loos in this market. Like this market is, the people are sending leads and interested. They are seriously interested. Again, we're not just getting people responding to us saying, hey, the builder didn't get back to me. They're saying like, hey, I'm interested in that specific 2-bedroom at that price, and the builder's not getting back to me. And I just want to actually take one step back to the marketing and sales. Again, I think that's so important right now because what's happening is changing daily. And the way people are communicating changes daily. So it's really important that the sales team is always talking to the marketing team so they can be working through this together. For all we know, tomorrow, the market might be really interested in house party. Like all of a sudden that house party app might be the way that people want to connect.
Or TikTok. Don't forget
or TikTok, whatever it is. I'm not saying those two are actually happening right now because I don't think they are. I mean, I love both those apps, but I don't think that's
your TikToks, Matt. I haven't seen
it is so important that information gets back from sales to marketing so marketing can do what they're doing.
So a CRM is the best way to do that. If you're still using Excel for following up with your online leads, it's time to say goodbye. There's some great CRMs out there where both sales and marketing can engage together on the CRM. Some of the ones I recommend you look at are Spark, based out of Vancouver, excellent real estate-based CRM. Lasso, one of the original Lasso, excellent content, by the way. They've got excellent content on their website for following up with online leads. And Smart Touch, based out of Austin, Texas. I actually brought them to the Toronto market about 10 years ago. And it's shocking to me that not all sales companies really recognize the value of CRMs. So if you're out there looking for a CRM right now, just go into Google CRMs for builders or MarTech for builders. There's a ton of tools that a lot of them are being used in the US, and Canadian builders aren't taking advantage. So for online lead follow-up, a lot of great tools out there.
Can I just interrupt one thing? We've got a question from Sarita Carbone, who's asking, what advice for getting agents on board with proper video appointment procedure? Is there a good format for a step-by-step process that you recommend as an example that you could share? Do you have any comments on that? I know that I have something to say, but why don't you take it if you have anything?
Yeah, I actually watched a webinar the other day that was all about how to do a good virtual sales appointment. So I think, Serena, we can talk about that. I can send you that webinar, but I think it's something that is really important right now. Getting out from behind that screen and having that face-to-face connection, the power of video is so important right now. So sales teams, they have to learn how to do this. This is the new sales with a capital S.
Yeah, and I think that my response is going to be exact same webinar to point them to that you're mentioning. But at the end of the day, it comes down to not being afraid to be on camera. Having your sales team actually in the model suite, you can actually be doing a live walkthrough with people. I think video tours are fantastic, but there's nothing like that one-to-one engagement to really knock it out of the park and then augment it with all these other tools that are available. And I know that later on in this presentation, you're going to go through kind of a list of a million different things that are important right now.
Yeah, tons of ideas. We packed it in with tons of ideas. So just to finish up on connecting with your online leads, I think there's a mindset change. Your sales office may be closed, but you're still selling, just in a different way. And this has become the salesperson's new job, to maybe post your virtual office hours and make sure your salespeople are working between 1 and 6 every day, working at their computers, or change their hours to 9 to 5. Have them prepared to interact with every lead that comes in. This is not the job of a sales administrator. This is the new sales for today. So hopefully they're going to follow up with a sense of urgency. I've read studies before that if you follow up within 5 minutes, I think it's a Lasso study, you have like a 400% increased chance of getting an appointment with that person if you follow up immediately. So get out there and connect with these people. And I can't stress enough, this is not about an information dump. Leaving people to their own devices in the most important purchase of their life is not a good customer experience. If they walk into your sales office, you're not just going to dump everything to them, hand them a price list and let them wander around and leave alone. So the connections now have to be personal. When you send that email or text or have a video call, it's got to be about understanding who they are. You know, greet them personally, ask them questions, find the home that's going to suit them. And that's what they would do if someone walked in. So just because you're virtual doesn't mean you should negate that process. You've got to be empathetic. You've got to build rapport with them. You've got to build trust. And don't just go straight for the video meeting, because until then, they're not going to be in a comfortable place with you to trust you enough to have a video meeting. So let them know how much you are, you know, listening to them. More than ever, they have to do that.
I want to add something else here. I think everybody knows that resale is totally different than new construction. I mean, resale, you actually have a house that someone can go to. And I know Aurea and Kriya and everybody else is starting to come up with recommendations on tours or whatnot. But unless you're talking about an inventory property, there's nothing there. I mean, you're either showing a model home, which isn't the exact home they're looking at purchasing or are going to purchase. It's got full of, you know, different types of upgrades. The whole sales center experience is, in a sense, it's just a huge sales tool.
We've always been selling a dream in this industry, Matt. So selling something virtually for us, it should be normal to us, because very few builders have model homes or even model suites in their sales centers. So it should come definitely more naturally. I think sales and marketing working together. I've put together a couple slides here about a report, a different way of doing reports, because this isn't about who walked into your sales office anymore. They're really about the engagement between your online leads and the actual salespeople. So first one, yeah, your quantitative metrics are now not about sales office visits. It's about web traffic, it's about leads, and it's about conversions. How much did you spend this week? What was your cost per lead this week? What's your goal conversion? For us, we've always benchmarked at McOuat, 10% of our web visitors convert into leads. These days, we're seeing that higher to 20 to 25%, because only very strong people are going on the website. So change up your report sales teams. Here's an example. The next slide shows the weekly lead summary. Sorry, the next one is, go back, Matt. So how many phone calls, how many emails? These things are just as important today. How many virtual appointments did you book? How many showed up? And what was your conversion? How can you improve that? So maybe this week, your virtual appointment conversion is X, change something up and measure it the next week. And then the last one is about what the net result is. So what was your appointment to sales conversion goal, and what can you do to improve it?
All right. There's a lot to unpack there, but I think you know, one of my main questions is that I'm sure people are asking is, like, pre this happening, let's call that BC, before COVID-19.
Yeah.
BC, like, how many leads were people getting versus now, and how many sales were people getting versus now? Like, should you just be happy if you're getting one deal? Like, if you get one deal a week, are you just be happy, guys?
Yeah, like 5 weeks ago, the first week in March, all of our meetings were about raising prices. You know, February was one of the hottest months in the GTA market in many years. So, so we were seeing incredible sales results, you know, maybe 12, 15 sales a week on a high producing site. Now, if we get one, yeah, I mean, every sale should really be considered a victory at this point. But I'm going to show you some examples of some builders that are actually selling online right now. And yeah, I mean, the buyers are absolutely out there. Now's the time, though, to create content. If you don't have any digital content, go out there and start to create some. And I'm going to give you a ton of ideas on what that content could be. But you've got to amp up your sales office as a virtual sales office today.
I think we've always said that, like, you know, content. That is, like, the most important thing. Again, BC, I've always been saying that, and me and you disagree, and we'll get to that further on about how much you should be sharing.
Yes.
But, you know, the more content, the better. But there's no doubt that right now, there's some content that is probably just more important or more higher level to be reaching the audience in that really human way. So here's some of them. I should mention, because I'm seeing some comments from people.
Yes.
We are going to be sharing this. I'm going to have to figure out how, you know, it's going to take a few days for me to actually convert it to share it. But for everybody who's was registered for this, I am going to be sharing this with them. So for that, but if you want to take notes by hand, now is the time, because there is some really great ideas in here.
Especially for this part, because I am going to go through like a ton of different ideas, and then later we're going to go into some advertising ideas for right now. So start by doing a content audit on everything that you have right now. See what is your existing stuff you can leverage. Mail your brochures out. Like Canada Post is operating, and mail is arriving every day. So a personal handwritten note to a lead with your beautiful tactile brochure, it's a great time to do that.
Let me just actually mention there, because I did
Yeah.
I have a podcast called Urbanize This, and the last one we did was with Andy Breather and Soul Cult. And Soul Cult had this amazing idea, and he was really talking about this human connection. And he's like, if you're doing a virtual meeting and you really want to connect with the people, send them like a gingerbread house in advance, or send them a recipe on how to make a cook. Send them something personal prior to the meeting that will really get them to feel that connection. And of course, he was talking about cookies and baking cookies because of that, that new home smell when you're going into. But
send them some cookie dough. Yeah.
Again, if you're sending them a brochure, that's great, but like send it with like a handwritten note, like something that adds that real personal touch. As Lianne mentioned, the mail is running, the couriers are like, you can get stuff to their house. I mean, you might even want to send it with a antibacterial wipe so they can wipe it down when they get it. But
you can get branded ones, but they're pushing these branded hand sanitizers. Yeah, no. So right now, people are home. They're in quarantine. They need distractions. They're craving normalcy, and they want to look at anything other than their spouse and their kids. So focus on creating content that's about education rather than promotion. I've got 2 slides here with like 15 ideas. You can get photos of your sales team, create video tours, do drone shoots, create Matterport tours. Those are cool 3D cameras. If you don't know what that is, ask me. Make interactive site plans, 3D interactive floor plans, virtual tours. Virtual tours, you can't turn around in a couple of days. You have to have CAD files, you need interior design, and you need an artist that's available to do it. They're all super busy these days. So if you're gonna do a virtual tour, it's gonna probably take a month, so you better get going with it.
I will mention this really quickly, jump in there, because I mean, from one of our shared clients and some of my family, they have a site in Port Perry, Cockers Creek, and we had Matterport on site within a day, and then it took, I think, 2 days to turn it around.
Yeah.
Lianne Gerken got it on their website within like a day. So like within 3 days of a phone call, they had Matterport tours of all 4 model homes, which are so powerful right now.
You can click through the rooms. It's a 3D photograph. Very, very cool. If you've got a model home or even your sales office, why not? So more ideas. You can create an ebook series about your market, your neighborhood, or maybe the best upgrades to invest in. Okay, how about a Zoom series where you interview your consultants and your architects, or even hold a Q&A session with brokers or industry professionals. You could create photo galleries and definitely more interior renderings so people can picture themselves in your homes. How about you go to your sales office with a selfie stick and give a presentation as you would if someone were to come into your sales office. Don't forget to ask questions as you're going along. A Facebook Live event. You could do a live stream walking through your model homes or your sales office. Even if your site isn't open, you could do, like for a coming soon, you could do a live stream to tease and release new information. You just have to create a Facebook event, advertise that event to your current followers, and then you can respond to people's questions. So I think even for a site that's not open, that could be a cool idea. More ideas. Okay, a LinkedIn live session for your broker partners. Even a webinar like this for broker partners. We're already doing this. It could be a great idea to launch your site to brokers. Allow them to ask questions, bring them together through a virtual event, and you don't have to feed them. Those brokers eat a lot. Those are expensive events, so why not do it virtually? Even for end users, I think a webinar like this could work if a virtual appointment's going to be too much of a commitment for someone. Okay, my favorite, came up with this the other day. Set up a Zoom call with one of your customers, like a happy purchaser who had a great experience. It's always been challenging to do those testimonial videos. So now you could, reach out, say, hey, you want to come on a Zoom meeting, give them a $100 gift card, tell people about your experience, and then you just hit record on your Zoom, and voila, you have a customer testimonial video. So totally authentic, super low cost, great content to create.
I'll say one thing that I love. If you don't use Drift, you should check it out, DRIFT. It's an amazing tool for you to create videos either of yourself or of yourself and your computer screen, so you can actually do a lot of walkthrough. And then when you put it into an email, it embeds it as a GIF. So you can actually have a little sign that says like, "Hi, Lianne." So people know that this is a one-on-one personal touch. When someone goes to watch that video, you're actually on a live chat with them while they're watching. And it's an
So
incredible
cool.
tool. Like it's one of my favorite tools around. It doesn't work when it's really cold, but if you're someone who's warm, so they've already kind of know who you are or
Yeah.
contact with them, it is extremely powerful.
I love that. BombBomb is another great email, embedding video into your email or a GIF or GIF of your video. Vidyard is another great video tool where you can either create the videos on Vidyard, vidyard.com. You can embed them in your emails, your landing pages, your blog posts. It has awesome analytics, so you know who's watching the videos, so you can follow up with them at the right time. And it also integrates with MailChimp and HubSpot. They have a free version that they're $8.50. They have an $8.50 a month enterprise version where you can actually embed an interactive message in the video so they can enter their email address. So you can tease them a little bit and then say, wham, give me your email and gate that content behind the video. So vidyard.com, Drift, BombBomb, all great tools.
We have a question from Mary Louise McDonald who says, one of our clients was concerned about the quality of videos as they won't be as professional. Can Lianne speak to what the benefits are of either way? And I just want to kind of, before you get to that, because that question was directed to you, but say, look at what Lianne and I are doing right now. Like I am in my house and like the entire world is competing for our internet. So my internet's not even that great. But through this, we're able to connect with people. Mary, I'm connecting with you directly on kind of a one-on-one level here. And we're able to get incredible content across. We have, close to over 200 people watching this, even though it's not the best. And then our numbers, interestingly, have pretty much flat. Like people aren't dropping off, or very few people are dropping off. So
it's authentic.
Yeah, it's
people
authentic.
want authenticity.
That's the key. And again, we're not, Lianne again, aren't doing this. We're not selling. It's not like blah, blah, buy our product. This is like, it's authentic. We're trying to do this in an authentic way. And that's way more important than, having exact lighting and having professional photographer come. People want to feel totally connected to someone. And I feel that non-professional even creates a stronger connection. But again, this was for you, Lianne. So
yeah, no, it's better, I think, to not go for the high quality professional content. Nobody expects you to have a videographer there. Even the Late Show, I watch Stephen Colbert all the time. He's doing it from his house. People don't expect that right now. So any clients, Mary Louise, that are concerned about that, tell them, hey, get a customer testimonial on Zoom, hit record. People are going to love it. Get that content out there, but don't give away the milk for free.
Get that content out there and get it out to everyone.
You and I are going to have a whole separate meeting about what content to gate behind your email address. I will say that the issue for me as a marketer is that when you give everything on your website, people that are interested in the product, we don't learn anything about them. We get the dreaded silent refusal, and we can't uncover any objections about the people that look at our content the same way that we can in a sales office face to face. You can go on the back end, you can look at Google Analytics and say this IP address in this location, liked this floor plan, but unless you have anonymous web tracking and they've registered already, not a lot of our clients have anonymous web tracking. SmartTouch offers that. I'm sure there's other CRMs, but when everything's online, we basically lose that opportunity to engage and to learn from the buyers. And as a marketer, like, I want to learn, I want to know what's wrong so we can fix it, what's great so we can do more of it. So I'm a fan of gating behind an email address your most valuable content. And what content is that? Pricing. My advice is always to show your starting prices and your price ranges, but not to show all of the final sticker price. And that's because it's really only one factor in the purchase decision. It's an important factor, but you don't want people to just compare. This builder's $679, this builder's $699. They don't get the full story when they just use a price point to compare. So give your price ranges. You want qualified people. You don't want somebody for $300 if you're $700, but gauge that price list, your final sticker price, behind an exchange of information. Show me yours, I'll show you mine. Site plan, showing Sorry, Matt, you want to say something about that? I know.
I'm biting my tongue. I'm biting my tongue. You keep going.
We'll do it. We'll
I'm going to
do
mute you in a second, but you keep going.
We're going to have a full separate whole talk about this. Site plan, maybe showing your availability. Show all the lots and say, contact our virtual sales center to see if the lot you love is still available. Lot premiums, definitely hold that back. You don't want to scare people away. Floor plans, you know, some of our clients still gate their full package of floor plans. We just show them a sampling so that we can get them interested. And then we say register for a full package. So it gives us that opportunity to engage, and don't give away the milk for free. Incentives as well. Incentive information is great content to gate. Say, you know, ask us about our incentive program and then ask them to register.
I'm going to now jump in, say the opposite side. I mean, I think it's very different that BuzzBuzzHome is created to create the best new home purchasing experience. And we believe that in today's day, the purchaser feels entitled to all the information. And that's our goal. Our goal is to always, in a sense, fight with the builder, because we're trying to get as much information as possible. We want all the floor plans. We want all the pricing. We want all the we want everything. And we believe that that's what the purchaser wants. Now, I think you're right. I mean, I think there's a fight. It's from what we represent, kind of the public, and you represent the builder.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is coming to this medium. You guys are somehow able to hide some stuff from us. But there's no doubt at the end of the day, the sales team needs to find out what the objections are. That's really the key for the sales.
Yeah. This is how we learn.
But to everybody watching, BuzzBuzzHome is going to keep trying to get as much information as possible. We feel that's the right thing to do. We feel that's what people want. But again,
I'm excited.
An entire different webinar.
I'm excited to do another webinar with you all about this, because I have a whole great online dating analogy about, you know, hey, why would you show all of your, you know, everything about you? Nobody's going to swipe. Anyways.
I should mention before I switch slides, I've got some big supporters in the chats here. We just had somebody. Oh. Could you imagine if Amazon gated pricing? That's a great point. Can you imagine if Amazon? I love that.
Yeah, buying something on Amazon is a little bit different. It's called a guided purchase decision. Okay, so incentives. What's going on out there right now?
I guess the question is, I'm a big believer that people should not be dropping their pricing right now. You definitely don't want to drop your pants. You want to stay strong, because that's how things really fall. And in the last, whether it's 9/11, Lehman Brothers, like, people stood strong on their pricing, but we're able to get around it using some incentives. So that's kind of the way I see it. What's your take on that?
Yeah, now's not the time to be showing any desperation. We always advocate to package up rather than price down. And it really only takes a few builders in a market to slash prices and to destabilize the market that's going to impact everyone. So there's a lot of other incentives you can use. Think about what issues people are going through right now and offer incentives that speak to that. If they're worried about their income and you need to sell units right now, then you could consider an incentive that offers a job protection program. If they lose their job between X and X date, they can get out of the deal. If they're worried about prices maybe dropping in the future, and you feel confident in your values and you need to sell houses, then consider offering an incentive like a home price protection program or a guaranteed price program. It's a clause that says if prices drop by a certain amount, we'll honor the new price. If they're worried about their mortgage payments, maybe offer a mortgage-free period or pay half your mortgage program. A rate buy down is also great. I saw Taylor Morrison this morning in the US offering 1% off whatever rate, they'll buy it down for that. Or closing costs, another great incentive program for right now. We'll pay your closing costs. But definitely don't drop your pants. Everyone keep their pants on.
Now, getting into some marketing stuff here, you know, it's what marketing tactics should be employed in. I just want to say that now is the time for builders, and this is across marketing and sales, to pivot what you're doing. I mean, this is pivot time. You know, if you take a look at BuzzBuzzHome, we had a roadmap laid out for the next year on new products we're going to be releasing. You know, Cliff and I, who's my business partner and co-president, you know, we battled it out on how much should we be pivoting. And I'm trying to, you know, do things like screw the next year roadmap. We need embedded virtual walkthroughs. We need people to be able to actually connect with builders through their calendar and create virtual meetings and give them a good platform to set up virtual meetings. So we're kind of, again, we're not taking, you know, huge things, but we're saying let's put a pause on everything else we were doing, or a lot of what we're doing, and pivot. And now is the time for both marketing and sales to be doing a major pivot on what you're doing.
Adapt, evolve, but definitely don't stop advertising. It's not the time. The studies have all shown that in a recession, it's important to stay visible. It doesn't mean that you don't decrease your budget to meet whatever your sales goals are, but it's important to still be out there. People are online, they're at home, and it's a good opportunity if your competitor has stopped advertising to increase or maintain your share of voice, as we call it in the online world. The bottom line is, if someone is searching, new homes Brampton today, or wherever you're planning on building, you want them to know that you have product. So if they're searching, they have to have an interest. If you're using the right kind of digital tactics, your ad should really only be appearing to your most likely buyers. So with search engine marketing, you only pay when they search. So what do you have to lose? The old saying is, when times are good, you should advertise, and when times are bad, you must advertise. So, these are some of the kinds of advertising that we're doing right now.
Yeah, I should also mention, I think that there's some people are scared to advertise right now. They're thinking, well, it's just not tasteful to be advertising right now. And kind of the flip side to that is, especially with retargeting, like, we offered on BuzzBuzzHome, you can do it off your own website, but if someone's actually been, in BuzzBuzzHome's example, on our site looking for a new home, like, we know they are interested in purchasing a new home. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with advertising.
There's nothing wrong. And I just read a survey yesterday.
Across the world right now. Like,
I read a survey yesterday, 35,000 consumers globally, and it said that only 8% of people thought that brands should stop advertising. So should you be tasteful and tactful? Absolutely. Should you be screaming, buy now, it's a great time to buy? No, but you need to be out there for people who are looking for your product. So here's a ton of different ideas on advertising efforts. Thank you to Jason from the Star, who gave me some of these great ideas. Display, intent targeting, retargeting, native ads, advertising on BuzzBuzz, credible search engines, credible news sites like thestar.com, globeandmail.com, emailing your database, using Wonderlist.
Can I interrupt there for 1 second? The email marketing?
Yes, but we only have 13 minutes left, Matt. So
I want to give a shout out to Rita Condos. Everybody in the world was like emailing out like COVID-19, blah, blah, blah. And they put together this amazing contest for like parents who are stuck home with their kids, and being like, kind of your best neighborhood, and we'll give you like $100 gift certificate to Amazon or something. It was just a very awesome email campaign at the exact right moment, and they got great response from that.
And on social media, you have to be, if you're doing something good, like one of our clients, National Homes, they're doing a lot of donations right now. So we're telling people about it on social media. We're giving people tips on what to do while they're at home. So advertising doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're screaming a message. I've got some examples here of, who is doing it right. And I think there's 3 or 4 slides, Matt, on strategies that builders are using. I will say these are not, a lot of these aren't my clients. It's really, I wanted to honor, some of the people in the industry that are doing some really great things. It's important right now to not scream buy now, but to say, customer service, we're here for you. We have digital tools for you. Focus on education rather than promotion. So yeah, here's Paradise. A total innovator in the market early in the crisis. They gave all of us some confidence that the industry could sell online. They developed this program with the help of Ryan Design. Shout out to Linda. And one of the challenges that they had with this process apparently was just exchanging documents and checks. They weren't using like a full online system. So apparently they did 80 sales this weekend. They firmed up about 55 with the back and forth, was the latest I heard through the grapevine. But an example of an innovator who's boldly stepping forward and saying, hey, buy from us. We're going to launch a new phase in an existing community. Matamy's the next one. Success in the marketplace, absolutely. This is a popular site in Milton. It's been around for a decade or so, and they probably have 100,000 names on their database. But they sent this out. They said everything's available online, the APS, first come, first serve. And I heard they sold out. Even though I'm not sure how large their release is, they often do small releases, but great email messaging.
Kind of funny is I'm finding people very hesitant to broadcast their success right now. Example being Paradise Homes. I emailed them after I heard of this success. I was like, guys, like this is such a confidence booster. Can I please get do a story on Livable about this? And it's kind of like radio silence. I know last weekend, Tim Nig with Blackline did an amazing launch for Saisons 2 of like 1.2 million plus through this online platform. It was a big success, but like people are kind of hesitant to actually be really promoting it. And I think, again, I do think there is a tasteful way to promote that. And I think it's important for the market to actually hear that there are deals going on. There are $2 million deals going on. There's 500,000. Yeah. It's happening, and there are purchasers out there. It's just really getting them at the right time. And it's again, it's pivoting away. It's that platinum VIP, blah, blah, blah. That is not necessarily the way to go right now. It is about one-on-one connections with.
And the right kind of messaging. So in the next slide, you see some samples of messaging where the language that they're using is all about empathy, supportiveness, helpfulness, and it's persuasive, but in a tactful way. I really love this one from Granite. Let's stay connected, even if that connection looks a little different these days. Or, the way Madamy says, for the time being, we're digital. One builder sent out, our sales offices are closed indefinitely with 3 exclamation marks in the subject line. I couldn't believe it. What message are you sending? The message should be, hey, we've gone digital. We are closed because the government is mandating us for social distancing, but we're still here for you. The next page has some more examples of positive messaging that focus on the benefits of buying online. It's a new way to purchase in the comfort of your home. Except for the pink one, we really don't need to scream COVID-19.
Big red flashing lights.
I don't like the way they dropped all their information in the portal and then leave people to their own devices. I will continue to make the point that this is a guided real estate purchase. Don't give away all the milk for free. Someone asks for milk, you don't dump it over their head. Okay. Toll Brothers in Las Vegas. I love this message. They got a cute guy. Andy Breather sent this one to me from PMA. It's a fun video to watch. We can't watch it here right now.
You know what, we can, but from my laptop, I don't want to screw everything up. It's going to be trouble if I try.
Well, it's plugging there.
If anybody wants to see this video, it's worth seeing. Send me a message afterwards. I think that everybody who is watching is going to get an automatic response. I'll have my email address on it. So if you want to see this, flip me an email and I'll send you the link to this guy.
Yeah, it's basically plugs their walkthroughs of their model homes. The last one, Fremont, they did a really nice job on their digital presentation center at ramping up their website. What I love most is that they don't give away all the valuable content. They've added this message that gated their prices, and they said, how do you want to communicate with us? Email, phone, or video conference. I think there's a lot of builders doing a lot of great things in the marketplace right now, and we just have to not be scared.
Lianne, let me ask you, I've kind of seen this trend over the last 2 weeks, and I think this Fremont one kind of outlines it. Previously, if you were like kind of registering for a project, you had to fill out like a 20-page questionnaire, like, are you a first-time home buyer? What, and these are all mandatory fields. I'm finding that like the fields have now gone down to exactly this. What's your name? What's your email address? How do we contact you? Are you starting to see people now just trying to, if someone's interested, they must be qualified, because who else is sending me a lead right now?
Every builder has their own goals. As a marketer, I want as much information as I can, but I don't want to create too many barriers to get that data. So today, I agree, the less is more. Just give me that email address. If I trusted that every salesperson was going to treat every online lead the way they would a person who walks in, I'd be a lot more confident just asking for an email address. But let's talk, Matt, about how builders are feeling right now, because I'm not sure if your revenue is dropped, if people are pulling out of advertising.
Yeah, so our revenue has dropped. It's funny that the people typically haven't pulled their featuring, so they're still featuring with us, but a few builders got really scared of, again, that louder messaging. So like our biggest decline was from our retargeting line item. Again, I actually think that's probably the opposite of what should be happening.
The best one.
Yeah, it's like the best time to be upping that right now.
Yeah.
But I think builders are scared. They don't know what to do. But I'm also feeling that, from talking to some builders who pulled that, I said, like, why would you be pulling that now? And it's one of the reasons that I decided to do this webinar. So they were saying, we don't know what to do. Like,
Yeah.
we get a lot of leads. We just don't know how to handle them right now.
Yeah.
We don't know how to get all their ducks in a row. And again, it comes back down to that kind of 7-point thing that you did earlier. I mean, if you are having a hard time, I don't want to talk for you, Lianne, but like, call Lianne. I don't think she's going to try. Like, just call Lianne and figure out like how to get this thing going, because it is so easy to actually sell right now, using that process.
Yeah, just getting sales.
Like, don't be afraid. Like, just jump into it, because this could be, again, it comes back down to what I said like a billion times. Like, it's time to pivot.
Yeah.
If you're thinking, I'm just going to pull my marketing and next month it's going to be back to normal, I mean, you might as well just declare bankruptcy now. Like, this is the time. Again, the sales teams have not had to ever deal with this. They've been paper taking order takers for the last 10 years. Now's the time where builders need to start to get their machine running and their ducks
adapt, evolve, and be ready. So for our builders, it's really a mixed bag. Like, some of them have gotten scared and run for the hills, in terms of sites that they were planning on launching. They're holding off on everything. Some of them are just plunging forward. The ones who have actively selling sites, we are super busy for right now, doing all those things that I listed out, creating, online sales systems, virtual tours, proper virtual presentations. Everyone in our home offices, all 37 of us, are super busy. In terms of new launches, we had about 25 in our shop for spring and fall, and about 75% of them are proceeding right now with getting all their materials ready, so that when the market returns, the first sign of life, they're going to be ready to launch with their finger on the trigger.
And that comes to kind of what you were saying before, like, just because someone may not be purchasing this weekend, like, don't cut your budget to nothing, because when you do decide to launch, you're going to want these leads. And if you've been nurturing them over this time period, when you do launch, they are going to be diving straight into you versus the builder who has just ignored them for the last 3, 6, 8, 12 months.
Yeah. What I'm telling my builders is, be ready. The market is going to come back. It will come back. Is it going to be a different market? Absolutely. There's going to be less buyers, but there will be buyers. So all the more reason why you need to have great marketing that targets those specific buyers, and don't let one of those golden leads go to waste.
And I just want to, this is kind of one of our last slides. I wanted to end with this, because I thought it was really funny. The digital transformation in the new construction world has been so slow. And this is the truth. I mean, over the past 10 years, 15 years, it hasn't been the CTO, it hasn't been the CEO. Like, COVID-19 is literally pushing builders into this. And the stuff you're doing right now that Lianne and myself are talking about, I don't think that this pandemic is going to end and this stuff's going to go away. Like, this stuff is here to stay. The virtual tours are amazing. Again, this is not resale where people like want to be able to walk through a house. Everything can be done online, and the technology is there to give home purchasers amazing tools to be able to do it from anywhere and to get that feeling. It's just changing the way things are done. And the builders who are taking advantage of it right now are going to be so ahead of the game when things do turn. We had Sarah Chris asked us, she's from Free Developments, what are those launches going to look like once the world is back to normal? You know what? I personally think it's impossible to say. I mean, back to normal, I think, is going to be a very slow process. I mean, I could see in a month from now things lightening up a little bit, but like, it's not going to be packed sales centers, I don't think. I can't see that happening until there's a vaccine a year from now. Like, the government is going to have to really limit how we open back up the economy, and how things happen until there is a vaccine or some type of incredible drug that can stop this thing, which I guess would be a vaccine.
Hopefully. It's going to be really interesting to see how builders decide to launch. I can tell you, for our clients, we've got kind of a plan A and a plan B. We are integrating a virtual sales strategy along with a face-to-face, probably one-on-one appointment type strategy. And we've been using these strategies for a long time. There isn't just one way to open a site. So when we get back to normal, are there still going to be lineups? Probably. Some of these tools and technologies that we're seeing out there are still going to be used. So business is changing. Business as usual is not the path to be taking right now. So don't be planning your launches the way you were before. Get creative.
We've got a funny question from Pharrell McDonald. says, do you see a move away from all the ghost sites, realtors posting builder-like sites that redirect leads away from builders so that builders can keep things in-house where they belong? I mean, personally, no, I don't. And especially the builders who aren't jumping on this right now, without a doubt, and I don't know if how many realtors are watching this, but I could see them doing the opposite. Like if a builder is not taking their floor plans and making them 3D, like a realtor is going to do that because it costs like $100 for a floor plan, and they're going to have 3D floor plans of your project site, your project's floor plans on their website. Realtors are hungry, and they are going to get even hungrier.
They are out there giving.
So,
Yeah, they're giving away, you know, a ton of content. They are doing the right kind of follow-up, and new home salespeople have kind of been letting them take those deals away. They are an army that we create for a site, and now is a time where you want that army to be there for you. But I think we can do a whole other webinar, Matt, on strategies for selling more of your homes to end users and buying direct rather than through brokers, because there's a lot of great strategies out there too.
I want to mention we are like down to exactly 1 hour right now. So we are going to end it because I know people do need to get going. For people that are asking, because I'm getting a lot of messages where you're going to be sharing the slides, we're going to actually be sharing this entire presentation. It's going to take me a few days to render it and get it out, but everybody who has registered for this, even if they didn't watch it, I'll be sending out the entire presentation. So you'll have everything in your hands, hopefully sooner than later. Unless my computer crashes and I lose it all. In which case, Lianne can send out the slides.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Matt. So much fun. I hope everyone got a lot of value out of this session today. You know, I offered up my advice on the house, and I'm actually going to be starting a podcast soon called On the House. We have a new podcast studio here at the agency. So hit me up on LinkedIn or DM me on Instagram or Facebook to hopefully join my podcast, where I am going to continue to offer advice on the house, because I think it's really fun.
You also did a great video.
Oh, yes.
I could send out the link. When I send out the slides, I can send out the link. It's a really powerful, emotional video about kind of what's going on. If you have any questions, again, you'll be able to email me afterwards. When I send the slides, you can always follow us at BuzzBuzzHome, which is across the board, or at Slutsky. Also have a podcast, Urbanize This. Check it out. It's about everything urban. So thank you very much for watching. I hope everybody had a good time. And I'm going to probably try and do this about once a month with different people. So stay tuned. I'll be sending out an invitation shortly for our next one with an unknown.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, Lianne.